Dr. DJ. You better ask Dr. DJ. You better ask Dr. DJ.
Hey, everybody. It's Dr. DeJarra K. Sims, better known by patients as Dr. DJ. And I want to just thank you for coming on and watching my new series called Origin Stories. And in Origin Stories, what we're doing is I am interviewing my past patients and some current patients about their story with skin issues. I want them to share with you their hero's journey, as I call it, through having skin issues and coming out on the other side, because I feel that what people want to hear is how someone did it. And I think that a lot of people feel alone in this journey. And I want you to see that there is hope and that there is like a solution to your skincare problems. So today I have a very special guest, one of my former patients who graduated from my program. Tali is here to share her story, and we're just going to chat, and it's going to be really informal, but I really want you to hear her story. And we're going to talk about what I took her through and the things that she did in her diet, lifestyle, supplements, herbs, and give you an idea of what it's like working with a naturopathic doctor to clear your skin. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Tali.
Thanks for the introduction. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Tali, and like she said, I've been a patient of Dr. DJ since 2021, maybe. And yeah, I'm just so happy that I found her and that she helped me on my skin journey and helped me bring my confidence back and help get to the root cause of my issue and solve so many of the problems that I was dealing with. So I'm excited to talk about everything and know that if you're watching this, you're not alone. We all are dealing with this and there is solutions for you.
Okay, so I have a quick question. So tell me, how did you end up finding me? Because you're on the internet looking for remedies. How did you find me and how did you find naturopathic medicine? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Okay, so it was near like the end of my, research, and I was feeling like I had no solution and I was never going to cure this thing. And I had found this like very expensive treatment on Instagram, and I had even like Zoomed with this girl, and it was going to be like thousands and thousands of dollars, and I was considering this program, and then my husband was like, maybe we should like consider some other options, and I was like just crying and just like, I just want to figure this out, and so I took a breather from that crazy option, and I had a friend of a friend basically say, oh, like I had heard about this holistic clinic. I live in San Diego, and that's where Dr. DJ worked at the time. And so basically she referred me to this holistic clinic where Dr. DJ worked. And I researched some of the doctors and found Dr. DJ as the skin naturopath. And I scrolled down and I saw a bunch of reviews from her past clients. And there were just some amazing reviews, like transformational stuff happening. A lot of the things that I was dealing with, other women had dealt with, hormonal acne. I've been dealing this for years. Nothing's worked. I've done so and so. And I really connected with a lot of the things these clients were saying. And I actually started crying, like reading some of their stories, because I felt so happy for them. But I was
awesome.
also like really jealous. And I was like, I want to be one of these girls.
I want what they have. That is so awesome. I love that the reviews help. I always tell people to be honest. When I ask for reviews, I literally say, just write your honest review about what happened with me and what you would have wanted to read if you were looking for a treatment, if you're looking for an option. And that gives you the best stories because people really speak to the heart of what everyone's dealing with, which is low self-confidence. I'm crying in the shower. I don't like to look at myself. And that's the transformation. Like, there are people out here that are selling you quick fixes wrapped up to look like it's naturopathic medicine. like, oh yeah, we're going to change your diet, but you just have to be on this diet for the rest of your life. Or I'm going to give you natural medicine, but it's really like their protocol that they did. And they're just a random person that also had acne and they're treating their acne themselves. And so then they give you their treatment plan that they got for some other doctor. But acne is so individual. And I love that you read the stories and that you could see, that there is hope. And there's like you said, a light at the end of the tunnel, because I feel that that's what people want. They just want a new hope. They want to be able to say, this is not another pill and it's just not another cream, like another antibiotic or another steroid cream or another whatever, or another retinol.
You're going to get some real answers. And
Yeah.
that's what gave me hope and made me like call and make an appointment.
Yay. I'm so excited. I'm glad that those help. And I want this video to be the same. Like, that's the reason why I want a video, because I do feel like there's power in the testimony. There's power in the testimony. Because when you can hear someone else's experience, then you can say that can work for me too. And I do appreciate you sharing the story, because the story is how we change lives. Like, listening to your story is going to change some woman's life. And I love that. I love that you're going to be now a part of someone else's story. Like, I saw Tali's story and I knew it could happen for me. So you have become exactly what you saw. Like, you are that girl. You're part of my clear skin squad.
Yeah.
We have the clear skin squad and you are now a part of that. So I am thankful for that. So thank you so much for sharing that.
No problem.
So tell us a little bit, because the people are listening. They want to know, what were you facing? What skin issues were you facing, and how did it impact your life?
So I was dealing with major hormonal breakouts, mainly all across my chin. They're the big, really like painful ones that don't even pop, and they're just there to stay. And it started slowly, one every month, then a second one, then a third one. Then at one point I was counting like 19, so I had it really, really, really bad. And I was just covering it up with makeup and trying to just hide from the world, because I just hated how I looked. And I had no idea why it was happening. And yeah, basically I started researching and trying to figure out what was the problem. And
Where
I
did you
didn't find
research?
any answers.
Where did you research? What was it like? What was your like? Were you Googling? Were you on websites, Facebook groups? What was your like source of information?
Yeah. I was definitely Googling, looking up like Instagram. I was already in like the natural world. Like I didn't want to do anything like medicated or antibiotics, because I already knew how bad those were for your body. A side note is I was on birth control, and I was on birth control for like 10 years. And yeah, we think that that was part of the issue, and my body was reacting and telling my body, we're not happy with this anymore.
When you came to see me, were you on the birth control initially, or had you gotten off of it?
I had already come off of it. So that was part of the journey, is let's try coming off of birth control. This was before I saw Dr. DJ, trying to cure myself. And so the acne started while I was still on birth control.
Gotcha.
And then I came off of it and it continued to get worse. So I don't know how I was strong enough to stay off of it, but
I don't know either, because you were just like, I'm not going to go back on.
It's getting worse. And when I did go to a doctor, their solution was, let's try a different birth control for you to clear your skin. And I just had this gut feeling like, I don't want to go back on birth control. I don't want this thing going inside my body. I want to cure it like naturally. Like, let's figure out like what's actually happening versus like putting a Band-Aid on it.
Right. So did you try anything else? Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you try so you wouldn't go back on a different birth control. What other things did you try?
I tried some like food detoxes.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the name of this
Did
guy.
it help at all? Like anything
I
that you
want to
tried before you
say
saw me?
it helped like with the glow of my skin. Like it was like a super strict diet. I want to say it was like the medical medium or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's so interesting. A
Very,
lot of people find me from Medical Medium's book. They'll like
yes, that
read
was
his
him.
book
That was him.
and then they'll go, "Oh my gosh, my liver, my liver." And he said to find a naturopathic doctor. And people are like, "Oh, I found you because the medical medium said to go find a naturopathic doctor." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Thanks,
I think
medical
that
medium.
he has a lot of great strategies and very interesting methods.
Uh-huh.
For me, the detox was very hard and it wasn't something I could do long term.
Right. That's what happens. You
So
can't
that's, I
sustain it.
think, what happens to most people is like, yeah, I'm going to stick to it. And then maybe it helps you for like 2 weeks, but then you're like, I need to live my life again. So I
That's
think
so
that one's
interesting.
definitely like part of the journey of finding you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't getting cured. It definitely wasn't. And then there were like YouTube researching like people with hormonal acne. Like I found videos of other women who were dealing with like very similar like acne than me. And I think that just made me feel like I wasn't alone.
Good.
Um, and I
Yeah.
saw them like being super vulnerable on YouTube and crying. And it made me feel better in a way because I was also crying like a lot of nights and mornings. I was just so like upset with how I looked, and I would look in the mirror and I wouldn't recognize myself. Um,
That's so interesting.
so
Because that's everybody's story, right? I
yeah, I
like
think
you
everyone feels
find
that
them
way.
and you find them online. And like I've heard, I'm crying in the shower because I look at myself in the mirror every morning and I don't see who I am. I don't like myself. And that story is a lot of women's story. And then they feel alone. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come online, have a podcast, create a community is so people wouldn't feel alone, because many of you all come to me and it's like, I'm helping you and it's good to be vulnerable with me, but then you go back home and you're still alone. And so
Yeah.
having a community is really what I want to build so that people can see that they're not alone. But we also need to share this information. So I know when you came to see me, so I remember the first visit, you came in with your supplements, right? You're like, let me show you what I'm on. And I was
Yes.
like, oh, okay. No, yes, no.
Yes.
So we went through some supplements. What things had you tried that you felt like weren't working?
So I think there's a lot of people who probably are in my position of like trying to figure out on their own what's wrong with them. And I
Mm-hmm.
would just straight up say, stop guessing. Like I went through so many supplements on my own, trying to do the research and like, I think this will work. Spent so much money on so many supplements. I still have like drawers and drawers of supplements. And I know you're out there, you're doing it too. So I tried everything from like general hormone balancing supplements to zinc and vitamin C and like combinations of so many things. I was taking probably way too many things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just find a holistic doctor, go to Dr. DJ and and get professional help, because you're probably doing too many things
Too
like I
many
was.
things.
And
Yeah.
so when I came to you, you were like, okay, girl, let's like start fresh, you know?
So let's talk a little bit about the first visit, because I think a lot of people, I can tell people what I do. People can sign up for a free 15-minute consult and I tell them, like, here's the process that you're going to do. Tell the people, the listeners, from your point of view, what was it like having a first appointment with me? And
Okay.
that's okay. You can tell the truth. I'm going to say, I can take it.
Um, it was honestly fun. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it was also like a breath of fresh air. So you're used to going to the doctor dermatologists, whoever, and you're there for 5 to 7 minutes, and you're probably going to get a prescription or something, and you don't really have a lot of time to talk about all your issues that you've been dealing with. For the first time, I felt like I was having a real conversation with you. We were
Mhm.
talking about everything from what I've been eating, all my supplements that I've been taking, to how my stress level is, how I'm sleeping. Like, it was very, very comprehensive, and I felt very taken care of from the start. And I felt like, okay, I think that she can help me. I don't know how long it's going to take, but like I felt calm in your office, and like,
Good.
okay, we're going to talk about what's really going on here, and we're going to tackle the root cause versus putting a band-aid on it.
Oh, that's so good. I'm glad you felt calm. Now, it is a little different now because when Tali came to see me, I was seeing patients both virtually and in office. Now I'm strictly virtual, but it's still very similar. The process is similar. And so talking about the treatments, during the first treatment, what do you feel like you noticed that was different? I mean, other than the time and listening, what was the approach like for you?
The approach was so different. So it was like you were tackling like a science project, and you were trying to really like understand what was happening in my body, and trying to, yeah, get down to like the true cause, and like let's find supplements, let's find herbs to balance what's going on. Just taking a step back, actually, we did a couple of tests to start off. So
Mm-hmm.
we did um we did a food allergy test. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what it's called.
Food sensitivity test. Yeah.
Sensitivity test. We
Mhm.
found out some interesting things. We also did some blood tests, and then we also did a Dutch test, which is a urine test that I had never heard of, and I think
Mhm.
it changed the game
Yeah, you
after
did
the
say
Dutch
the
test.
difference with the Dutch test. Like when we do the prep work with a gut health, because where you absorb nutrients is from your gut. So I always want to make sure your gut is healthy, because from that point on, then the absorption of the nutrients from any herbs that I give you is better. It's like it's a better absorption of the other supplements. So we
Right.
started out the food sensitivity. You didn't see much change in that. Like your skin was probably like less inflamed, if I remember correctly, but none of the lesions were going away. They were just probably not
Yeah.
as red and swollen.
Yeah.
Um, do you remember what food sensitivities you had? Because I feel like I don't
Yeah.
remember specifically. I could pull up
I
the
was
test.
a little sensitive to almonds, and I think almonds were like the big one, but
Uh-huh.
I still eat almonds now and I'm fine. So I think
Right.
like in that moment when I was like very inflamed, it probably helped to be off of them, but it wasn't the real issue. So
And it
I think
wasn't gluten and dairy and all the things
gluten
that
and
everybody else
dairy,
has.
yeah, it
Because
was
a
really
lot of
good.
people remove that.
And I had already removed that.
How
And
long
then
you had removed gluten and dairy, and I feel
for
like you stopped eating a
years.
lot of things
Yeah,
and didn't
for
see any
years.
changes.
No, and now I eat dairy and I'm fine.
See, and that's why I tell people to stop blaming gluten and dairy. Now, gluten and dairy can be problematic in a lot of people, and especially gluten and dairy from the United States. It's just super
Yeah.
inflammatory for the majority of people. However, I tell people all the time, it's not always gluten and dairy. And that's why we do food sensitivity tests, because people are removing these foods and they're missing out on some deliciousness sometimes when they don't have to.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
at least as far as their skin is concerned. Now, I don't know about
Yeah.
any other issues, but as far as their skin is concerned, it doesn't always lead to gluten and dairy
Yeah.
intolerance or sensitivities. And
Yeah.
so we did the Dutch test. So that's a urine hormone test. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about a Dutch test and how we use that in another video. But as far as that, what did you get in the results from that? Because we know you had some high androgens. Is there anything else that we
Yeah.
discovered from that?
So it was like a 3-day urine test that you did at home, which was really cool. And then you send in your results. And then I came into Dr. DJ's office and we reviewed the results together. And it was very like aha moment, like,
Mhm.
okay, here we are. And it was basically, I think my testosterone was very high and my
Mhm.
progesterone and estrogen were very low,
Yeah. Yeah.
and everyone is different. So, this is just
And
my issue.
that's the thing, like that. And what I've seen is when people are taking like random supplements on their own, they're like, oh, I'm going to take this because I have hormonal acne. Well, everyone's hormonal acne is caused by either the decrease or increase of different hormones. And that's what I see in the Facebook groups, because most of the Facebook groups have people like, oh my gosh, you should do DIM. Oh my gosh, you should do saw palmetto. Oh my gosh, you should do chasteberry. And I'm like, well, those are all 3 different herbs for 3 different outcomes. So it's depending on what kind of acne you have. And I say it over, I sound like a broken record, but I'm like, that might not help you if you have high testosterone. Oh, that might not help you if you have low progesterone. So because everyone's different. So that's why I do the Dutch test or some type of urinary hormone testing, because I see the ranges on the blood test being so great that it doesn't give us enough information. Because if your estrogen is normal between like 20 and 285, like that's, and then you got a 30, like, I don't know what that means. Like, it's like, oh, is it normal or is it not normal? And I feel like the urinary hormone tests are a little bit more accurate. So,
Yeah.
and you saw the results. So after the first visit, we gave you treatment, right?
Yeah. So you said, this is what's going on. And it was sort of like, okay, like we found out some results. Yay, And that was like a really good, I felt really good in that appointment. I remember feeling like, okay, we have some like answers. Now she's going to give me certain herbs and supplements to balance those out. And
Mhm.
if I was trying to do this on my own, like I would never have come, like, you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Like, go to a professional and find out the answers. So
Did
it
you
was
have
so
any challenges with like after that? Did you have any problems like with the like treatment
with
at
the
all?
herbs.
Yeah, with taking the treatment, like what I
Um,
told you, was it too difficult? Was anything hard changing
no,
with the
no.
diet?
So Dr. DJ, basically you gave me like, I think it was 2 main herbs.
Mhm.
One that was bringing it down, one that was bringing it up. And that I had to take, once or twice a day. And I was like, I'm gonna be a good student. I'm gonna do this,
You were
right?
such a good student.
And yeah, you need to listen to your doctor and do what she's saying, and hopefully the results will come. So I think it was within like 2 months, because at this point, like my journey was quite long because I had so many issues. And I think it was like a total of like 6 to 8 months, maybe from
Mhm.
the beginning,
Mhm.
because we had to deal with some gut issues and the sensitivities and all the things. And
Right.
maybe it was like a couple months in that that I really saw results right after the Dutch test.
Right. So
When I
that probably
started
was like
taking,
3 months in or so.
yeah, I think it was like honestly 6 weeks after I started taking those herbs after the Dutch test results that I
Mhm.
started seeing results. Like, okay, I'm not getting as many. And then another month would go by, like, okay, there's even less. There's even less. And within like 3 months, I was really clear. I still had a
Woo-hoo.
lot of scarring happening
Yeah.
from like the years of acne and stuff, but I was just so happy to be seeing results and like, okay, I think this is working.
And then what, like during that time, if there are any specific examples that stood out, like you're like, okay, this is actually working? Because I know you said you like a few, like, was there any like a moment where you're just like, oh my gosh, like my skin is amazing. It's looking so much better.
Yes, I don't know like how I was okay with this, but maybe some people are too. I was taking photos the entire time of like how bad my skin was, and I would
Mhm.
like hide them in like a secret album
Did you have a
so no one
secret
could find them.
Kardashian album?
You
Oh.
can't do that on your phone.
Well, we'll talk about
And
that afterwards because I didn't know
yeah,
you could have a secret album.
secret
Oh.
album. So I had some really scary photos on there and was like progressing. And I think I had taken a photo of like my progression, maybe, yeah, 3 months in of like, okay, like it looks pretty good. Like it's definitely getting there. And then I put it next to one of my like original bad photos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, like this is working. Like, I can't believe how far I've come. Like, I wanted to send it to my mom or like, like my husband, like, look, it's working, and that was like definitely a aha moment of like, yeah.
Yay. I always tell people to take pictures because what I've seen is that people don't remember how bad their skin was when they start to get better. They're just like, this isn't working. I'm like, did you see your skin when you came to see me? Hold on, let me pull up this picture I took. So now I actually make people take pictures because before it was like, but then it was around like a little bit before I met you. I'm like, take before pictures. And then we're going to do a picture every 4 weeks at least. But I think you were taking pictures weekly, or at least, you were taking your own pictures weekly. So I didn't have to tell you, you're like, I taking pictures. And no, that's really awesome. I'm so happy. So what, if you would like reflecting on everything that you have gone through, what you've experienced with me moving forward, what advice would you give to someone who is like you searching, came across this YouTube video randomly? What would you tell them?
I would tell them like some things that I wish I had known. Um, I would say, first of all, you're not alone. There's so many of us that are going through this, and it can feel like more of a community if you know that.
Mhm.
You're really not alone. The second thing is stop guessing and stop buying supplements and trying to figure it out on your own. I
Yeah.
wish I had I wish I had gone to Dr. DJ a year before I did. So just research, holistic doctors, or just go to Dr. DJ.
Oh,
um,
thanks.
and yeah, because now she's remote, and I wish I had just gone earlier and stopped guessing and researching and trying to figure it out on my own, because I'm not a doctor. And yeah, so that's
Yeah.
number two. I guess the third would be holistic care is expensive, and you just have to know that. And it's worth every single penny to invest in yourself and your long-term happiness. Like, I am so, so happy with the money that I spent on this, because it changed my entire life.
Right.
And there's nothing that could, I can say. Um, I think we talked about this once, Dr. DJ, of like, yeah, it's expensive. Like, but if you're not finding answers and you're unhappy and the issues aren't going away, it's just going to get worse. And yeah, your self-esteem is just going to keep going lower. Like, there's nothing more important than investing in yourself and
And
in
how
your
did that change your confidence? Like, how did that even, like having clear skin, what did it do for you mentally and emotionally?
mm. I mean, yeah, like we were talking about, I had nights and mornings of just crying. So going from that and like just saying no to social events because you have a massive pimple on your face that you cannot cover up. Like, I know how you feel, all these people
Wow.
watching. Going from that to having clear skin and waking up every morning and actually like being okay with looking in the mirror and be like, okay, I'll just put a little bit of makeup over my scars and like be happy to go out and see friends and feel good about yourself and feel like you recognize the person in the mirror again.
Mhm.
It's just life changing. Yeah. You feel like yourself again.
That's amazing. And I don't know if you want to talk about this, and if not, we can definitely not talk about it, but you did like end up getting pregnant, right?
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that. Yeah.
Because I mean, you look so beautiful and you're glowing, but you also are glowing because you're preggers.
Yes, I
And talk a little
am.
bit about that, because
Yes,
I am not a
definitely.
fertility doctor, but let me tell you, I work some
Well,
magic when I'm clearing your skin.
well, hormones have to do with fertility. So I remember
Exactly.
having a conversation with Dr. DJ earlier on when we found out the Dutch results. and saying like, girl, your hormones are like out of whack. Like you couldn't even get pregnant right now because they're so out of balance. And
Yeah.
that to me was like, I wasn't even thinking about getting pregnant at that point. Like it was so far from my head, but it did trigger something of like, oh, I need to balance these hormones like soon-ish so that I can get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So without even realizing it, my journey through like, clearing my skin with you balanced my hormones out. And by the end of the journey, I guess, my hormones were balanced and I was ready and fertile again. So it just sort of happened naturally, but like maybe a year after I was all clear, a year
Yeah.
and a half. Yeah. So I'm like
Yeah.
about 5 months pregnant right now. And it was super easy to get pregnant.
Congratulations.
Like we didn't even have to try that hard. So I know that's a blessing. And
It
I think
is.
it 100% has to do with how clean my body is, how balanced my hormones are, and like, yeah, it definitely has to do with the journey with you, Dr. DJ.
That's so awesome. I was like really excited when you told me you were
Yeah.
pregnant. I'm like, and I clear skin and I help make babies. I'm going to start doing fertility
Oh, and
next.
the first thing I did when I got pregnant, you were
Yeah.
the first person I told because I
I
was
know.
on my herbs because I was like super diligent with them. And I
Mhm.
was like, Dr. DJ, I'm still taking my herbs, like religiously. Like, should I stop them? And she told me like exactly what to do.
Yeah,
And
like, no, you got to stop some of these. Like, these are not
yes,
necessarily safe in pregnancy.
yes,
Some of the herbs are not, I won't say not safe in pregnancy. There's no evidence that they are safe in pregnancy. So I generally will tend to treat patients who are not pregnant. And then people who are pregnant, they have different things that they do, mostly diet changes. But thank
yeah.
goodness you came to me. You weren't pregnant. You weren't trying to get pregnant at the time. We went full steam ahead. You got your skin clear, baby's on the way. I'm super excited. You totally can name them DeJarra if you want. DJ if it's a
We'll
boy.
think about it. Oh, also, I'm off of the herbs right now. So, like,
Right.
I was scared,
You
Dr.
were.
DJ, like, is something going to happen once I come off these herbs? Like, and is the acne going to come
It's
back?
no
Like,
reverse. Yeah.
yes. And she was like, you know what? Like, pregnancy, usually balances out your hormones. Like, she made me feel very, like, confident that it's going to be okay going
Mhm.
off of them. And I have been mostly okay. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like it's been like pretty clear the entire time, like little things here and there, but I think it's very like pregnancy related.
Yeah. And
And
so looking at that, like, is there anything like, what are you doing ongoing for your skin? Is there anything in particular that you're doing specifically for your skin? Because I know I work internally. So a lot of people are just like, well, what products should you use? And I'm not clueless on products to use, but I am like, it's really skin grows from the inside. So that's not really
yeah.
my specialty, right? I do inside work. So what are you doing as your skincare routine now that you're kind of coming off of supplements?
Mm. I love that you
Anything?
say that you work from the inside because that's something I really learned from you is like, is it my face wash that's giving me acne? Is it my moisturizer? Like, no, those are probably like add-ons to what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really what's going on inside. So like unless you're really using something that's like giving you a major rash or something,
Yeah,
it's to do with the inside. So
good
I'm
point.
still taking like fish oil omega-3s, and I still take vitamin D.
You're on
I'm
a
on
like
like
a prenatal.
I'm on a prenatal, yeah, so I'm
Mhm.
off of some of the other things. Yeah, it has like, zinc and all the things that are good for my skin. But I guess in general, I try to eat really clean, lots of like healthy fruits and vegetables and
Mhm.
clean meats. Try to stay away from all of the white cereals and all of the like processed stuff. Like, yeah, I'll have like stuff here and there, but I tend to be pretty clean.
Good.
Um, and then topically, um, really simple stuff. Like I learned, I don't know if I learned it from you, but like the EWG
Yeah,
uh,
website.
website, and also the Think
Skin
Dirty
Deep.
app.
Yes. Think Dirty app is another one I like.
Yeah, so that tells you like all of the clean products that are out in the market. So I use a face wash in the morning and at night. I think it's called Mad Hippie. It's a very clean, like,
Yeah, they have some good stuff.
brand.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not for everyone. Like, just try out what works for your skin. There's so many like amazing clean products out there. So there's not like one for everyone. And then a moisturizer with sunscreen. You taught me about the sunscreen.
Yes.
And then
With
at
the skin.
night, like some like I think they're called like oil serums to like
Neck
moisturize
serums.
the face. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
serums. That's basically it. Like, not too much going on. It's really, like you said, from the inside.
That's so good. That's so good. I
Oh, and
love
also
that. Go ahead.
last thing was the clean makeup.
Yes. Clean makeup
Clean
matters.
makeup. Yeah. So I think the brand is called
That's okay if you don't
Mineral
remember.
Fusion. Mineral
Mineral
Fusion
Fusion. Okay. I
is a
don't think
good
I've used
one.
that before. I'll have to
Um
look into that.
and also Imani makeup. But there's
Imani?
so many clean brands.
There's so many.
You can
It's
find them
what
on
works
the
with your face, really.
yeah, find them on the app, and just find what works for you. But it's awesome to see that there's so many clean brands out there now.
Now there is, because I remember back in the day, there was nothing. There was just like nothing. I'd be like, okay, well, you just have to like detox the retox. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell
Yeah.
you. Just wash your face really well. But now we have options. So that's really good. And I do like to, that's one of the reasons I like to partner with like estheticians and people who are in the space of healthy makeup, because as a naturopathic doctor, I feel like I can learn that stuff, but I also stay in my wheelhouse. Like, I'm really good at healing the skin from the inside out. I will give people direction on how to read, labels and things like that. And then I'll point them to the right resources. But I do feel like it matters, because what you put on your face is adding to the toxic burden. So you want to put things that are less toxic on your face. And that's what I stress, like less toxicity and heal from the inside out. So that's, if, I could sum up, I know you gave your advice to people looking, but if I could sum up, how I treat the skin, I look at the person in front of me and I hear their story. I always talk about the journey they've had to get to me. And that tells me everything I need to know, looking at, because we always know that skin health has to do with gut health. It has to do with hormone health. It has to do with liver health, stress. The gut brain skin connection is real. And I talk a lot about that. And I have to figure out which one of those things are causing you the most inflammation and deal with that first. And the other ones are causing it, but then we take one thing at a time. But we always start with the gut, because that's where, especially people that come in to see me, they've seen several dermatologists. I, just got off a call with someone who's seen 7 dermatologists, 7 board certified dermatologists. They've gone to UCLA. They've gone to, for rare skin diseases, sometimes they're not rare. They're just like really bad eczema. They've seen people at some of the best medical institutions, but they're missing it because they're not getting to the root cause, because they're just like, here, take this cream and come back and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to give you anything else topical. That's another thing. People come to me. They're like, are you going to give me another cream? And I'm like, nope, I don't have any creams to give you.
No.
I mean, I can give some suggestions, but that's not my style.
No, and to add on to your method is like, she really teaches you why all these things are happening. Like, I feel like I came out with like a college course like level, knowledge from like just meeting with Dr. DJ. Like, I'd come out of like appointments like, I can't believe like I just learned this. Like, so cool. I'd go home and like tell my husband, all these things I learned. And I felt like I came out with actual tools that, in the future, if I were to get like, a pimple here and there, I would know what to do. Versus
Exactly.
like, I just need to go back to the doctor and get a cream.
That's the empowerment. I feel like that's so important. I always tell people I want to empower you to be like, to take care of yourself, to take care of your skin. Like, I'm here when things get out of hand, but the reality is I can't be there all the time. And you can handle like little fires. Like, you're going to go on vacation and drink too much or eat too much of something, or, and it's going to cause you to have like some minor skin issues. And with the knowledge I give you, you should be able to treat yourself after I've cleared your skin. And if something gets out of hand, then I'm here for you. That's how I want it to be. Because I think we all should be empowered to take care of ourselves. I think that's what healthcare really should be about, like keeping you healthy. And then when you're not healthy, then you come to see me.
Mhm.
Not just like you have to see me all the time because you constantly are sick. That's not
Right.
healthcare. That's like sick care, right? That's
Yeah.
what people are doing.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
you
and
really
tell me a
gave
little
me the
bit. Go ahead.
tools.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, no, I was just gonna say you really gave me the tools. Like, I haven't really needed to come back to you since then, just
Mm-mm,
because
no.
like talking to each other. But um,
And that was like 5, 6 months ago. Like, yeah, because ever since you've been pregnant, like I saw you one time to kind of get you off the things that I felt would
yeah,
harm the baby. But other than that,
that's
it's
it.
been months
Yeah.
because, like I said, people actually graduate from my program. I don't put people and like milk you like, oh, you're just gonna, oh, and now we have to do this other test. And now I'm like, when your skin's clear, you're done.
Yeah.
And bring more
Yeah.
people. We got to help more people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I'm thankful for you doing this, because I'm like, oh, we have to help more people. And you've been so great.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Well, I
been
hope other people
amazing.
are inspired by like all the stories that, all the people that you've helped.
Oh,
And
thanks. I do have one more question
yeah.
because you mentioned your husband. What was your family member's response when seeing your skin, knowing how much you spent, going to naturopath? Like, what was his response? Your other family members, what did they say? Because I'm always curious. This is more for
Yeah.
me than.
I feel like they've been trying to be supportive the entire time, and we're just
Mhm,
supporting anything I was trying. So
mhm.
they've seen me go through all of the supplements and, oh, I'm trying this now. I'm trying this, um, and they never really had like other answers to give me, like
Mhm.
just like, oh, poor Tully, she's dealing with this,
Yeah.
and my husband would like make little jokes, like, he obviously felt bad that I was going through this, but like, oh, here's another supplement coming in, like definitely spending a lot of money on this, and hopefully this one works. And um he actually encouraged me when I found you to go. And I was
Good.
like, what do you think about this? Like it's a little more expensive, but I think like this is what I really need. And he was really, really encouraging of it and said, oh, I think you should have gone there from the beginning. And
Oh,
I
that's
said,
awesome.
I think you're right.
And I
So
ask that because people do, like, they have spouses and they have people that are in their lives that are just like sometimes skeptical of naturopathic medicine. And it was really great that you had support of your family, because I know a lot of people, a lot of women may not have that support of their husband or their spouse because they're like, oh, you want to spend all this money on this. But it was really awesome that he was supportive of you.
yeah, and I definitely, I'm very grateful for that, and I know that not everyone has that, because if you're not in the world at all of naturopathic medicine, it can feel like so voodoo out there, but
It is woo woo for some
this
people.
stuff works.
Yay.
So
So
believe in it and just know that it takes time, but um yeah, make moves, go and do it.
awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we get out of here? Because I know we've been chatting for a while and I really love you. You were great at sharing your story and I really am thankful for you. But is there anything else you want to share with our audience about your experience or skincare in general anything you forgot to say or anything extra?
Aw. I
I feel
think
like,
just that naturopathic medicine takes time. So start your journey now, don't wait, and just believe in yourself first that it can work. And
amen.
yeah, and you will get there. I've been in your place before and it sucks. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
and Dr. DJ can be a part of that light.
Can be your guide.
Yes.
I can guide you to the light.
Yes. No, and
Follow
thank you
me to
so
the
much.
light.
Thank you for everything that you've done for me and given me and all the knowledge and just the amazing relationship that we have. And I'm just really grateful for you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for joining me on my very first origin stories. This has been amazing. If you like what you hear, please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on your notifications. I will have more origin stories from more patients. And of course, if you hadn't already watched mine, go right ahead and watch mine. And we'll just keep doing this until you understand that skin health comes from the inside out and you get the help that you need and find the support that you need. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You better ask Dr. DJ. You better ask Dr. DJ. You better ask Dr. DJ.